Hey, what's up? This is Gary from Raz Rentals. So, way back in 1988, in my opinion, the best toy line of all time burst onto the scene, filled with mutants, madmen, crazy creatures, amazing, awesome vehicles. So much cool crap. We couldn't handle it in the 80s, so it spewed out into the 90s, and then it died off, and then it came back in the early 2000s, and then it died off again, and it came back in the 2010s, and it died off, and now we're at a point where we are getting a ton of brand new Ninja Turtle toys, and it's like Turtle Fever is coming back again. It's crazy. Recently, we've had the awesome NECA Toon line, the NECA movie line, and the NECA Mirage line, and NECA's they got a lot of lines, but Super7, an amazing company who recently got the Turtles license, just started putting out the awesome Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Ultimates figures, and this is a review of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Ultimates Leonardo from Super 7. I just got this. It's January 2021. This went on sale way back in January of 2020. So it took about almost a whole year for this guy from pre-order to get here. And, that's a long time, but I think these guys are worth it. I think, they're doing a really good job with these guys so far. So Leonardo comes in this cool mailer. It's, it's just cardboard color. It's not... the old Masters of the Universe classic figures, but that kind of started this trend. They came in white mailers, but these all come in just cardboard color. And inside, when you open it up, you got your nice regular packaging inside. So, these guys originally come, obviously, in these little plastic bags. So, you really got to work hard to get into your figure in there. It's like Christmas, man, in January. It won't end. So on the back here, it says contents. One figure with accessories. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Ultimates up top. And on the front here, we have a cool sewer manhole. And you can see Leonardo's face there, and it has two emblems on the side. Each figure has a different little symbol. Raph had Size, Bebop had a drill, and Leo has got his katanas. And down here it says Leonardo, ages 14 plus. As if a 10-year-old is going to be able to afford buying these. Come on. So, you take off your slip cover, and voila, inside there is the very cool looking brand new Leonardo, and I gotta say, this looks great. I really like this a lot. I think both of these faces look very nice. I think that that is a really cool thing about these figures, is that you could either try to make them look just like the soft head and hard head figures from way back in the day, or you can kind of give them their own Super 7 look. And, I think that's a really cool thing that they decided to do. So, if you turn this around, the whole package is kind of covered in this green brick. The bad guys have green. The bad guys have blue, the good guys have green, the bad guys have purple slipcovers, the good guys have green slipcovers. And on the back here it says, Leonardo, the battle commander for the Turtles. Like his Florentine namesake, Leonardo is the perfect turtle. In the lidless eyes of his allies, he is known as the unofficial commander of the Turtles and Splinter's star pupil. He's a suck-up. Because of his keen eyesight and sensitive hearing, Leonardo is extremely well-balanced, which makes him more skillful when wielding his ever-flashing katana blades. No matter how dangerous the situation, Leo doesn't mind sticking his neck out. His primary objective in life? Cut down the shredder. Well, cut the shredder down to size. Very, very cool. And I really like the packaging on this thing, because you have this graffiti and stuff, and it just looks really cool, man. The Super 7 is really grabbing the attention of my how old was I at the time? 4 to 12-year-old self. I get to relive my glory day, my childhood days all over again with bigger toys for my bigger hands. So, I'm going to open this guy up move him around and see if I have to warm up any joints or anything like that, and I'll be back to talk about the figure inside. There he is, Leonardo, the leader of the Ninja Turtles. And right off the bat, man, this guy looks fantastic. You know, I'm going to tell you a little secret here, and you may lose a little respect for me, but Leonardo is not my favorite Ninja Turtle. I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. All right. Personality-wise, he's a little bland. You know, he's kind of like the Boy Scout. He's very much wants to be the leader, and he's, you know, always doing what Splinter wants. In the cartoon, he's a pretty good personality, and some of the best Ninja Turtle storylines in the original comic book are Leonardo, such as the Leonardo micro series where he, you know, gets attacked and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, I could go on and on about Leonardo's stories, but past that, past the personality and all that kind of stuff, he's not my favorite Ninja Turtle in, you know, story-wise, but I think Leonardo makes the best Ninja Turtle figures, because there is nothing cooler than looking at, you know, a turtle standing on your desk or your shelf, just holding giant katana blades. And, you know, he will always be my favorite. He was always the most impressive out of all of them. Like, when you're just kind of looking at something. Like, one of the first 2003 figures I got was this one. And, you know, like, this guy is just awesome. And this Leonardo continues the trend. He looks great. And, you know, we don't have Donatello and Michelangelo yet, and Raphael looks really great. But, you know, like, this is just iconic. When you look at this, you're like, yeah, that's Ninja Turtles right there. So now's the time when I'm going to talk about Leonardo's sculpt and get pretty nerdy, comparing him to the original 1988 Leonardo action figure. Let's start from the head. The head looks very similar, and it looks very nice. You know, they copied that same expression on his face where he's doing the Two-Face grimace on one side, business and fun on the other. He looks pretty good. I will say this. Like I said, I was getting a little nerdy with Raphael there. His teeth, I was able to count them and see how, like, they were all set up. This Leonardo's teeth are not exactly the same, so if you were just dying to know, the original one has 4 on top, and this Leonardo has 3 on top. So, not the same. This failed me. No, I'm just kidding. He looks great. The shell looks really good. You know, they're still doing a good job of copying that almost exact look. Now, they did add some things to the belt here. You know, you do have, like, obviously this is just completely black. And, but they did add, like, you know, extra pieces of sculpt here where these straps would connect to this belt. And also this like line or these squares around the letter. So, you know, that's new, and I think it does a good job of improving upon the original design. Now, this Leonardo does not have a hole there on the side of his belt. One of the things that they were able to copy from Raphael to Raphael was that hole on the belt. But holy crap, look at this. Does that count? Is that on the other side too? Yeah, it's on the other side too. The soft head Leonardo I have does have that hole on the belt there. Maybe, yeah, this kind of has the hole there. It's just kind of messy and messed up a little bit. So we look at the back here, and again, is this blurry or what? The straps connect to the belt almost exactly the same way, and I really like how they have like a texture here on top of the scabbards. That's cool. I like how you have the new little screws there, or whatever they are, studs to keep the leather together. That's a very nice addition. You know, they really, like I said, they upgraded this figure. His shell looks really good. He's got scratches on it. They're different than the original Leonardo, but... And in a minute, I'm going to compare this guy, because I don't know... I'd like to know how much of this sculpt is reused from Raphael, and how much of it is actually brand new for Leonardo. So, I mean, you got the veins and all that kind of stuff. That all came from the old sculpt. You know, I one of my favorite things when I saw Raphael and this figure was just how they were able to translate the muscles from the original toys into the new ones. Like, there's something about the way that they built these muscles in the original toys that it's very stylistic to the Ninja Turtle brand, or the original line, and they did a good job of copying it over into the new ones. Although, like, there's some difference. It's like you have these forearm muscles are different, but in general, it does a good job. If you just looked at this and you like didn't look at this, you'd automatically just be like, oh yeah, this looks like a one up of my original toy from way back in the day. So it does look really nice. They did a good job. And all right, I'm going to talk about Raphael in a minute, but let's talk about paint and the structure of the plastic for this guy. Now, this guy does look really good. The detail on him is very nice, and I've already done a review on Bebop from this figure, and the paint on these guys is just fantastic. Like, the paint is cleaner than, like any paint I've ever seen before. In the past, I don't know how many years of toys. It's like pristine. It's wonderful and beautiful. But like, my only negative, and it's just like a little small detail thing, is like on the top of his head here, you can see where like maybe the plastic didn't, like, the color of the plastic didn't fully like form all the way, so you can kind of get like a little dark line in there. Or you have some spots here where you have like a smooth space, or like a smooth spot underneath his eye, and then the rest of it is more of like a, like a flat kind of feel, like it's more like matte, and then here it's smooth. It's like eggshell and matte finish of paint. But like, that's not even paint, that's just how the plastic was built. And yeah, like, it just looks fantastic. His muscles look awesome, his face looks awesome, and his shell looks great. Like, that looks just like the Leonardo we all grew up with back in the day and love. And, it's really cool, but a little later I'm going to show you the new head. We'll figure out which one of these is probably the best. We'll see. Here he is with Raphael, and holy crap, this is pretty awesome. Like, this is really cool. Like, I'm really impressed by both of these guys. And, just having both of them together looks awesome. And, these guys, they're brothers, they love each other, but they also want to kill each other because, they have different conflicting personalities. But, all right. So, here's just a little update about my Raphael from Super 7. Over the past couple months, some of his joints have gotten a little looser than they used to be. So some things are, maybe moving a little more freely than I would like. I mostly display this guy with the newer head and not this original sculpt. So most likely I will probably display both of them with the brand new heads. I kind of like distinguishing them as their own special thing because they are like these Super 7 figures. So I did a quick overview of the bodies, and both bodies are exactly the same. Yeah, hands are the same, arms are the same, shells the same, legs, all the pads. Like, if you look at the pads here, they got the same exact. Let's see. The pads have all the same exact, like, cuts. The shells have all the same cuts on them. The backs of the shells here, you can see they've got the same cuts. But, I can overlook that with this line because, it's not always the coolest thing to get reused parts. But, a lot of, like, the Ninja Turtles back in the day, the arms and the legs and the heads were different, but I'm pretty sure their torsos were all the same. They just kind of had a little slight variation in color, like the actual yellow on the back of them. Not much, but maybe a little bit, depending on which release. I don't know. Like, they're not very consistent back then. But if you look at the colors of their shells here, Leo's got more of an orange tint to his shell, where Raphael has got more of a yellow. And the backs, of course, are very different. Raph has more of a brown, and Leo has more of like a, what do you call it? Would that be like a really dark green, or is that like a really, is that like a dark gray? I don't know. It's, I'm okay with it. You know, if you looked at the toys back in the day, let me get them out here. If you look at a old Raphael here and a Leonardo, like you can see that there is a little bit of a difference between the colors of the front of the shells. But, you know, like I said, it all depends on which line. Soft heads have different colors and hard heads have different colors. And, you know, the backs of them, they all had a little bit consistent colored shells in the back. But, you know, I don't care that they made these turtle shells a different color, because I just think it helps differentiate them more. So, good old Leo here. If you colored back in the day when you were a kid, you probably used olive green for him. I know I did. And, you know, his skin tone, this new one, matches this one extremely well. It looks very good. Like, it is a perfect, you know, the what the heck do you call it? It just looks really good. All right, it looks really good. It's very much that same olive green color, and the paint might have been a little brighter on the old Playmates figures for the, you know, the knee pads and all their wrappings and stuff like that, and their masks. But I don't care. It still looks great. I think it's a very good upgrade, and you know, I'm going to put this guy up on my desk next to my computer so my wife can say, why are your toys down here? Take them back up to your room. Since we were already talking about Raphael, let's talk about a couple other very quick things. One, if you want Raphael's weapons to match Leonardo's, you're going to have to... See, I'm using the plain gray plastic ones, but you'll probably want to use the silver painted ones, because Leonardo only comes with one pair of swords, and they are like the shiny metal type. Now, here's the other thing. This is Leonardo's second head, and you can see it compared with Raphael's second head. Now, this is where it kind of gets a little tricky for me, because I might prefer the original Playmates head a little bit here. I think the front of Leonardo's face looks nice, and I think Raphael's looks really good. The only thing is that I kind of don't like how the bandana, or, you know, the straps come out from the back and just lay down on the back of his shell. I always kind of think that it looks cool having the turtles, you know, I like it how they always like kind of blow in the wind to the side. It almost kind of makes Leonardo look a little bald to me. Like most of the other figures, you usually see something sticking out from the side of their head, you know. Bada bing. It's usually not that flat. Even with the, you know, these arcade ones, it's going straight out behind them, but, you know, it's still sticking up. So you kind of get that little sense that there's something there. So that's a minor nitpick. I kind of wish that they would have made this able to rotate around or something like that, so you could kind of get it in a position you might like. And that's that. Let's talk about Leonardo's articulation. Alright, so if you have Raphael, Leonardo has the same exact articulation. You know, he's got a ball jointed neck. It's like on a rod in there, so you can kind of move it around, and you can get him to look straight up like that. He can look down this far. His shoulders they can swivel. They got a hinge in them, so you can raise them and rotate them around. He has a cut in his bicep. He has a swivel and a hinge in his wrist, so you can spin it around there. This is seems very tight though. I'm having a hard time turning that, but it can be done. His wrists have a swivel and a hinge, and he's got a bunch of different hands you can switch out, so those are simple. And let's see, up the top of his torso, he doesn't really have any articulation. On his lower half of his torso, he does have like a little thing in here, this little piece of plastic or whatever it is that connects to his legs, so you can turn his legs from side to side, and they can rotate too. So that's like a lower torso hinge or something. I don't know. So in the hip here, you have a ball joint, and you're able to rotate his leg out like that. You can rotate it down, you can rotate it forward and back, but you know, you hit the shell eventually, and you can swivel along the hip there. So that's all good. The knee here, it can rotate around, and it has a hinge too. You know, like the other characters, just like Raphael, there's no pins here. It's all very clean and nice looking. You know, the articulation works well, and it's kind of hidden within the body a little bit. So the ankle here, it you know, you can rotate it out or down and up, and it has ankle rockers. And that's all he's got. This new Leonardo figure just looks awesome. And you know, it's very nice. The articulation works really well. And you know, you can get him into a lot of pretty good poses. And most of the joints feel really good. Like there was only a knee joint that kind of got stuck for me. And then other than that, like every other joint moved really well. And you know, they're a little tight, but they're not too tight. And you know, they're loose enough, but they're not too loose. Hopefully it kind of stays this way. Hopefully it doesn't like wear down a little bit more. But, you know, I love this thing. You know, it's been 33 years since we got the original Leonardo toy, all the way back in 1988. And, you know, we've had lots of awesome Leonardos over the year, and this might be in my top 5 of all time. So, let's talk about Leonardo's accessories. Well, maybe I spoke too soon. This kind of moves a little loose. But, again, onto accessories. First, Leonardo comes with his weapons rack, just like the old Leonardo did way back in the day. All the weapons on here are unpainted, and, you know, if you want to, you can pull them all off, just like you did way back in the 80s. Unfortunately, mine was not pushed into the tray all the way, so it got warped because, you know, it was just sitting in there, not pushed in all the way for whoever knows how long it took for them to make it and ship it over here and for me to finally get it. So unfortunately, these swords and stuff like that are warped. But, you know, in general, I probably won't even use this. I'll probably just stick it in a box and keep it, you know, in storage, because I'll just use the painted weapons, because that's what I would really want. And, you know, this thing's got the two katanas, the 1 comma, the 2 fist daggers, and the 2 ninja stars. First, for Leonardo's weapons, you have his katana blades. Now, both of these are the exact same blade, and they're both painted the exact same way. You have a really nice shiny silver to make it look like metal. You have gold here, you have gold there, and then you have brown on the actual handle. And these look nice. I was a little worried at first maybe that they could have been a little warped in the package, but they both came out pretty straight. So, I gotta say, I think these look very good. If you were curious how these looked next to the old ones, here are the major differences. First of all, this blade is curved. You know, this is pretty straight. The handles look pretty different. So, it's not an exact copy. To put Leo's swords in his scabbard, they actually did something pretty cool here. They made it so that there's like a little bit of a ledge for the second sword. So, you know, you put your first one in there, and then the other one sits on top of that. Very nice. Like, that's pretty sweet. Here's Leonardo's next weapon, his ninja star. He comes with 2 of them, just like the old figures used to. And that's an old Playmates ninja star from 1988. Next, Leonardo comes with the comma. You know, I think I was never a big fan of the original comma, because to me it just looked like a J. Like, it didn't look too threatening. But I really love the way that they make these new commas for Raphael and Leonardo. They look very sharp. They look like a very good weapon to battle your enemies and cut the foot soldiers into ribbons. Not to mention that the points on these are very sharp. If I was walking around late at night, I would keep one of these in my pocket. Next up, you have Leonardo's brand new fist daggers. He, of course, comes with two, just like the old 1988 figure. I always really liked this one. You know, this one to me seemed useful because you could punch forward into your enemy. This fist dagger, to me, never looked that useful because you kind of would have to, you know, attack kind of awkwardly. Like, you would have to hold this by your hand. But I cannot deny how cool this sculpt actually looks. Like, it does look really nice. So, pretty nice. And very sharp, again. You know, walking home, safety first. Carry one of these. Leonardo comes with a piece of pizza. And it's exactly the same as Raphael's pizza. Only it kind of has like more texture. Like maybe some more paint or something like that on it. So it kind of looks like there's some kind of seasoning on it. Up next, Leonardo comes with a turtle communicator. And this is cool too because Raph came with one and they're different colors. I thought maybe they would put like blue on the, you know, these little square or, you know, rectangles. But no, they didn't. So each one is very different from another. And they both look pretty nice. And then he also comes with a closed communicator that is also different from Raphael's. So let's talk about hands. Can we talk about hands? All right, let's talk about hands. First, Leonardo comes with 4 gripping hands. 2 for both sides. They're both sculpted the same exact way. The only difference is that on both sides you have one hand that has a hinge that is horizontal, and you have a hinge that is vertical. So this is something that's very cool. I wish a lot of people would do this. I would hope that NECA would start doing this with some figures. You know, so you can get a lot of really cool poses with this guy. I think vertical hinges are very important for Leonardo, so you can try to make it look like, you know, he's actually slicing with his sword or pointing at the enemy. Up next, Leonardo comes with 2 fists. These are sculpted very nice. They look like they keep the mass of the fist pretty good so that, you know, it doesn't look like the fist is too thin or, you know, there's some kind of weird wonky proportion kind of thing going on. And, you know, you could just pop that in there if you can. There we go. And that looks pretty good. Hello? Ninja Turtles? I decided I don't want to be a foot soldier anymore. I'd like to be your friend. I brought you a pizza. Pizza? What is this? Anchovies? Bam! This fist works very well. Up next, Leonardo has these like open hands. I refer to them as the reaching hands because, you know, it looks like he's reaching out to grab something. And I love these kind of hands. I feel like, you know, these are some of the best, most expressive hands that you can give a figure. And they look good, especially with Leonardo when he could have it like reaching out and have a sword ready to go. This is Leonardo's last accessory, and I already kind of talked about this when I was talking about him and Raphael. This is his extra head and his regular head, side by side. You can kind of see a little bit of differences here, how they have them set up. Like I said, this one perplexes me. I don't know. I kind of like that original head because of the bandana, and maybe just the overall shape of it. I kind of like more. I don't know. I gotta sleep on this one. This will keep me up all night. I gotta think about this. Well, that's all for Leonardo's accessories. And, you know, we saw a lot of cool things. A lot of very, very cool things. And, you know, I've learned something today. I've learned that after 33 years, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles can still blow my mind in the action figure department. You know, there's still some excitement and adventure in these cool toy lines. And what am I even talking about? All right, you know what? Like I said, this figure is awesome. I really like him a lot. I love the paint on him. What paint there is. I love the blue color on him. I think he looks fantastic. Here he is next to Old Man Splinter, you know, following, second in command. What do you want me to do, Splinter? What do you want me to do? If you're thinking about mixing and matching some turtles across the lines, here's what Leo looks like next to NECA's Krang and the Shredder. You know, all these really have great designs, and I can't wait to see what Super 7 does with their Krang. Hopefully, we get to see it soon. If you've seen any of my other Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Ultimates Wave 2 reviews, you'll notice that I use this same shot in all 4 of these. And this is just to show the scale of these new Super 7 figures, and to also show how these toys have grown up over all this time. Holy smokes! Somebody better call the authorities. I think these guys have been roiding up over the years. And this Ultimates review just wouldn't be an Ultimate review without a look, ultimate look at Leonardo throughout the ages. Now first we've got Leonardo here, and of course he's based off of the original Leonardo toy from 1988. That's 33 years ago, and this mold is still going strong because Playmates keeps on pumping out more and more of that action figure. Here we got Leonardo as a samurai. Now, I really hope that this is like... I made a wish list a couple of weeks ago about figures that I would like to see Super 7 do in the future. And, you know, this is one of them. I mean, this guy wasn't on my wish list, but this is kind of like somebody I should have put on there because I always really like this samurai Leonardo. I think he's really great. He was one of my favorite turtle variants from back in the day. Next up, you got the amazing and awesome movie star Leonardo. And like I said, I always thought he looked really cool because it's just awesome seeing a Ninja Turtle holding 2 swords up in the air. Not to mention this guy's cool and rubbery and all that. Then, long after the original Playmates line died, it came back from the dead with the 2003 Ninja Turtles. And these were great. And, you know, again, they brought back the olive color here for Leonardo, which was nice. Because they don't always do that. And let's see, what else do we got here? We've got the movie, the NECA movie Leonardo. And he is very cool. You know, these are some of the best Leonardos ever. You've got cartoon Leonardo. Just think. You had the toys first, and then they turned the toys into the cartoon. And now they made the cartoon into toys. And now they made the original toy into a new toy. So, I don't know what that all means, but, you know, it's just cool. It's cool to see all these different takes on the 4 turtles. Then you had the 2012 Leonardo. Now, I'm not... Like, I bought these just because I wanted to have them, but, like, these are not my favorite. These 2012 Ninja Turtle toys. And see, what else? What can we end this on? Oh, I know. The awesome Mirage Leonardo. Very different from all the other Leonardos. Why? Because he's got a red bandana. Look at him. But, you know, Leonardo, he just makes great toys. And for that, I'm a huge fan. You know, I really love how this toy looks. I think, you know, he just looks great. And, you know, next to Raphael, both of them look amazing. And they're going to look great on the shelf. And I can't wait for the next 2 to come out. Whenever they come out, hopefully it's a little earlier than, you know, 2025. But we'll see! Super 7, you're doing a great job. I kid about the lateness. As long as you give me a nice looking figure, I'm perfectly happy with it. Thanks. So, talk to you later. Have a good one.